Another warning sign for the U.S. economy as bailouts are about to be initiated. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, buckle up, strap in. We got a hard-hitting, pull no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows or sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. Let's jump back on the real estate merry-go-round, examine the good, the bad, and maybe a little bit of the ugly.
No, Scott, not the ugly. Only examine rainbows and sunshine and puppy dog.
No. Somebody's got to read between the lines and look. Between the economic cracks, we've got some cracks to look through today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. So here we go again. Another warning sign for the U.S. housing market. Can the biggest artificially induced with no organic growth real estate bubble sustain itself? That's the million-dollar question. You have to put some percentage of likelihood that the biggest artificially induced housing bubble with no organic growth can sustain itself. Logic for a level-headed realist would say no. For exactly what I just said. It was unorganic growth, market manipulation. It was FOMO, limited inventory due to lockdowns, and a low interest rate environment created FOMO, the fear of missing out. Herd mentality. I watched it firsthand as an agent. It was embarrassing for me. Absolutely embarrassing. Agent sitting at home, all of a sudden I'm an essential worker. I can go sell with certain protocol procedures, no open houses to the public, one-on-one showings, sanitizers, booties, special forms to be signed before entering the house. I mean, just craziness, really. It was a really weird climate for sure. But unfortunately, millions of people now have the golden handcuffs. They got into that low interest rate, but their house is no longer worth what they paid. They're upside down in their purchases. But as long as they can continue to make that payment, they will continue to hang on to the house until the bitter end. Why, you ask? Of course, I'm going to tell you, because when you put that much pressure to buy a house, the last thing on you, like we saw during the crisis with bidding wars, the last thing you want to do is let go of the house. It's just bad. It's just so bad. Studied in the psychology of people and the psychology of sales, friends, I just see this as a complete disaster on so many levels. But that is the waters we're swimming in now. They are shark infested. We're going to navigate them the best we can together here at the channel. If you're new, please get subscribed. Never been a more important time in history to get centered and surrounded with like-minded people where iron can sharpen iron. It's better to expect something and have it not happen than have something happen and have expected it. Staying in front of this, keeping our thumb on the pulse, and reading between the lines and looking between the cracks is what we have to do right now with the U.S. housing market, because if we lose it, we lose everything. We will be thrusted not only into a recession, it will be a deep cycle recession based on the size of this bubble, more likely an economic depression, which is in fact the worst type of recession we can get into. There's only three levels: a correction, which we're in now, recession if we can't stop it there, and a depression if it keeps going. And logic would tell you just can't rule that out, although most agents will tell you no crash risk here, date the rate, marry the house. Stupid things like that to get you to buy. Not me. I'm going to put you into houses the best of my ability. I'm going to shake the trees, kick the tires, offend sellers if that's what I have to do. Most agents are like, I can't do that. I have to work with these agents again. I don't care. Get out of your own way. Happy customers are repeat customers. You're going to have to ruffle a few feathers out there. We're in a real estate bubble. So with that being said, we had bailouts in 2008. Bailouts are about to be initiated again with the current administration. They do not want this thing crashing on their watch, and they're going to do everything they can to do it, but the only tool they have at this point is interest rates. If we lower interest rates, buyers will come back into the market. Not so quick. Not when the U.S. savings rate is now at an all-time never seen before low. People have exhausted their savings. They don't even have a down payment at 0% interest rate. So that doesn't hold water. And then number two, U.S. debt is at an all-time high. They're already buried in debt because we got them used to all this free money effect and living this great lifestyle, renting Airbnbs, toys, all the stuff we saw in 2008. And now they're buried underneath debt. We've exhausted it. It doesn't matter. Interest rates won't help. But here's the reality. Interest rate cuts are nothing more than a bailout. And they're being structured as much as that. They're going to be a bailout for the U.S. housing market because we see what the big outcry now, and I've warned about this, because for a while it was all rainbows and sunshine. Every major news network had the CEO of Redfin or Zillow or whoever else they could get to come on, talk about their euphoric housing market because it was a trending headline and everybody wanted in. And mainstream media, They don't think for themselves. Everything's handed down from some newsroom, and then they push it out. They're not offering solutions, forward thinking, critical thinking, and they're certainly not warning you to be careful right now. That's where channels like this come into play. From somebody who's lived through the financial crash of 2008, even suffered some of its blowback as a bill-paying adult, and who's an active real estate agent in this current bubble environment and sees exactly what's going on. Done a lot of business during the crisis, still am. Plenty of escrows right now. If you need help, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you as well. Anywhere in America, the biggest network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. I went from buried with buyers during the crisis because there's limited inventory and a ton of buyers to now it's flip-flopped. And this is another warning sign. I've got more people wanting to sell than wanting to buy. And I always say, find out who your competition is and beat them. I pass on listings all the time. Listen, here's the facts. Got competing with a lot of people. If I come on the market, same price as everybody else, how many people is going to rush over to see your house? But if I give them a reason to get over here and create urgency, fill this house with people, then I could probably pull an offer out of somebody. And those are the realities. That's just it. But now we're hearing how interest rates, we're pushing to lower interest rates, and if we can get mortgages back down, that's going to help the housing market. And it might help it on the short term, but it's going to hurt it on the long term because we already had overnight appreciation, never seen before highs with unorganic growth, market manipulation to get to the prices we're at. So if we just come alongside that now and try to to help people save money through a mortgage instrument, but the prices are still elevated, that's not helping. There's only one clear path out of this, and this happened in 2008 when we had the bailouts for the housing market then. It crashed anyway. A crash is the only thing that helps this situation, and it's going to have to come back down to pre-pandemic levels. You want high interest rates right now. We need prices. We need properties that will pencil out at today's interest rate with a standard amount down. There's properties out there in certain areas that will do it. Affordable rentals will always be in demand. And most people don't want to hear this, but again, as somebody who owns rentals, bases their cost of living off of rental income, and understands that real estate is the long game. If even my primary home, I want to know, hey, listen, if I want to buy a new house or if something happens to me or the economy, my income, a renter goes in and they make the payment. Affordable rentals will always be in demand. You never want to own the nicest house on the street. You want the most affordable house on the street. When I see a house and it's overbuilt on a little residential street and it looks like a luxury home, I'm like, what'd you do? This was great if you wanted to use the house, but you stick out like a sore thumb and nobody's going to come buy this house because the price you're asking for doesn't warrant the comps in the area. Cheapest property in the nicest area. That's what you always want to target. You need an agent willing to tell you that. Most agents just want to, are you qualified? Are you all cash? Let's go shopping. Let me set up some properties for us to tour. Are you selling right now? I ran the comps. This is basically the sales price that we came up with, the suggested sales price. Oh, you don't want to sell at that price because your house is special? Okay, well, let's put you on the market at your price then. Letting their sellers set the price. And that's why you see over 2 million properties now stuck on the market, chasing the market, which is in fact why we got to drop rates to try to initiate another bailout for the housing market. This will be one of many bailouts, more than likely. And final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a real estate guy that wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life. Understand the waters you're swimming in now. They're shark infested. Bailouts, welcome to the swimming pool. Interest rates are just a bailout. If we lower rates right now while prices are sticky and we're already in a fragile economy with inflation, a runaway train off the rails, left the station, not coming back, that's in fact nothing more than a bailout disguised as a sheep in wolf's clothing. It's not going to work. There's only one way we bring stability back to this market, and that's through prices. And unfortunately, correction, recession, depression, those are the three levels of an economic downturn. We're in the correction phase right now as we see inventory spiking and price reductions spiking all across America. We're correcting. If we can't stop it there, the U.S. housing market, being the biggest asset class on planet Earth, will drag us into an economic recession. It's the backbone of our economy. If we get into a deep cycle recession, which logic would tell you is not off the table based on the size of this bubble, we will hit another economic depressionary level of a downturn, which have cycled approximately every 100 years throughout recorded history. We're in the 100-year cycle. And if you don't think the crisis and the overstimulation of the U.S. housing market, the way it was constructed artificially in this one, can't deliver an economic depression, you're out of touch with reality. And that's why I'll be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way. Because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. Appreciate the content. I want to humbly ask you, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media link in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there. And if you need help buying or selling real estate here in America, I have the biggest network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. It'd be our honor and our privilege to do so. Email in the description for you as well, or simply reach out to scottwaltersrealestate@gmail.com. We'll find you there. Also, if you're watching from your television set today and you enjoyed this video, you're going to love the next video. And there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.